So here we go with the CA30 cab. It's got its own bag of self-tapping screws, door cards, doors, everything else. So let's crack on with this. It's okay getting on there. All seems to be going quite well. There's the doors, and the doors open. Not put the mirrors on yet because I need to keep juggling that around. Floor with the gears and the pedals and the hood. So obviously when that's on, that will come down. We have magnets here and on the inside just here. So when that shuts, it actually does latch on, and it will do when it's all together, like so. I would imagine that the grill does hook in there, like so, to hold all that together. So yeah, it is certainly coming on. The next step is the floor, and these will need to be fitted on here. I've chromed the inside of the light buckets, and I've also chromed the inside of the mirrors, so when we put the lens over it, it looks good. Still a bit more work to do on there, some detailing, some lights. Not sure what goes in there just yet. I'm assuming that these are rear lights. So yeah, I'm not going to get too far in front of myself until I know what goes in these. I shall find out. So let's get into putting the rest of this together. So that is the front fenders, the interior. which are very easy to fit. So now obviously that bracket there sits in these two locating tabs here. All very robust. And that all fits in nicely there. Excuse me. So, got these bits to put on the detailing. Not going to put those on until we've done. So obviously the hood is going to be able to open. It'll be all robust when it's all stuck together. But yeah, that is coming on very nicely indeed. So okay, here's a thing which never really occurred to me until I couldn't figure out why the hood wouldn't close, and it was because the magnet was repelling. So you have to make sure you get the magnets polarized correctly. So all I've done is taken that magnet off, flipped it round, glued it back in. So now that just hooks onto there quite nicely. So yeah, something to be aware of. So I'm going to put this hinge pin back in here. Which might be easier said than done. Might help if I just take it off. How about that? Because it's not fixed in. There we go. There's a locating peg just in the front of the cab here, and that goes in like that. Absolutely just clunked into place. And then two screws hold the grill on. I don't know if this hole here is deep enough. I don't think so, because it just stands off that little bit. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit deeper. So give me 2 minutes and I will be right back. Yeah, just a little bit of a gap there, which I'm sure is not intentional. I don't want to push. So I'm just going to tighten that in there. No power tools needed really. I take a little bit out of each side. That looks perfect to me. That looks good to me. Let me get a couple of screws in there. That'll be those two. Right then, here we are with a light kit that we're going to put in the King Kong RC CA30. Now these are branded as Tamiya, but these are not Tamiya. These are just a generic Chinese clone, and they come wrapped up like this. So what we're going to do is just have a quick look at what they do. All the LEDs come plugged in, and we have 6 servo leads. So I'm assuming that these are self-powered. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a receiver, and let's have a look. I'm going to assume that these are the Chinese versions, and we have channel 1 in steering, channel 2 in the throttle, I'm only guessing, and then channel 3 in, I'm going to put that in, or the 3rd channel, and then put the ESC plug into channel 2. So the battery powers the unit. Get the servo plugged into channel 2. I'm just going to plug a motor in just so we can see what it does. So let's plug in rather a battery, turn on the radio and see where that takes us. I assume the 5mm are white lights and the 3mm LEDs are going to be indicators. I don't know. Let's just turn this on and find out. Steering, yeah, indicators one way, indicators the other way. So that is via channel 2, which is in channel number 1. And then when we drive forward, now I have this switch set up for headlights. So when we drive, and then brake lights. Right, so let me try and hold on to that. So when we go full throttle forward, we get lights on. Don't want that. I might put them in so as headlights. So we know they work. Seems pretty straightforward, so let's get it in the King Kong. And now on to the rear section. Lots of wood, lots of little nuts and bolts. So yeah, I can expect there will be a few choice words said in this. Very good pressed parts. No sharp edges on them, so yeah, quite impressed with those. So let's whiz forward and put this together. Here we go with all the small bolts. These little tiny things just here. Absolutely tiny. And in this back part there is 52. So I'm just going to whiz them in to line them all up, because this needs to be square. Just taking them in a couple of turns. Painstaking, and it does help if you have a 2mm socket driver. So let me whiz them in. Wow, that was very painstakingly time consuming. Nothing sticking through, no wood splitting, which is good. The disturbing thing is there is 52 of those little bolts in there, and that didn't even make a dent in that bag. I am missing one bracket here because for some reason they included two brackets that were the same handed. So if that goes on there like that, that would be wrong. So I'm going to wait for that one to come. I can't really modify that. I don't want to put it on the inside, so I'll just wait. They seem to be okay. Send in the brackets for the dashboard. So we're going on to the sides now. Right then, I've just gone and made a left and right of these. I haven't tightened them up, but I certainly wasn't going to video myself putting them all in. But I'm just going to knit these up while I tell you that I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the fact that the quality of the wood is very good. The quality of the metal on the sides is very good. There's no sharp edges. All the holes line up, and the detailing is fantastic. We've got all these nuts and two M2 bolts. I'm using my Vera socket driver because it has a thin wall on the edge, and I'm not scratching these plated uprights on the sides. So yeah, the holes line up. There's very little tolerance, so getting them out of square isn't really going to be an issue. But of course, I just like to get all the nuts and bolts in before I tighten them all up, because we just get that one that needs that little bit of extra movement, then, you know, we've got it without having to tidy everything in. And with these, they're just the bolts that are just tapping their own way into wood. So I'm certainly not going to be using a power driver to get them in. I have more feel with my fingers, so I know when to stop. And what I've done is I've left out these two on this end and the entire bottom row. It does say in the instructions, but it's not 100% clear. The instructions do tell you what to do, not in great detail. I have been spoiled because I have had a lot of Tamiya kits in the past, hundreds of them, and their manuals are second to none. I've had Schumacher race buggies, touring car chassis, again very good detailed build manuals. So these manuals do tell you what to do. You've just got to look at the manual and look at all the minute details, because you really have to look for these things. The only criticism that I have with, the only couple of points I do have with the King Kong RC is, yes, it is very, very well, the chassis is very well screwed together. Some of the M3 in the gearbox, they do need chasing out with an M3 tap or just another M3 nut bolt that you can just go in with the thread chaser. The plastics on the cab, that could improve massively. If you're going to paint it, you're going to cover a lot of the imperfections up. If you're going to weather it, then it's not really that important. It's yeah, it's very brittle. It could do with a little bit more poly in it, a bit more nylon or whatever it is. I don't claim to know anything about plastics and its composition, but I do know that it is very brittle. It doesn't bend as much, it just snaps. And plastics could be better, quality control could be better. I've got a couple of brackets that hold the dashboard in that were missing. They were very good about it, they just sent them. And I just sent them over. Not a problem. that goes there, as they are left and right handed, with some M6, some M2 by 6. So we don't put this end one in, obviously, because that's going to go all the way through the wood and thread into that. So you have to get past the threads biting into the wood and then screw through it. So yeah, as you can see, all the bolt holes, they all line up brilliantly. That edge is perfect. There's no burr on it. So let's get a couple of screws in this one. And knit that in. Nearly dropped that one. Nearly. But yeah, you definitely need a set of these mini nut spinners, definitely, or it will be very difficult. Right, let me get the rest of them in. That's the box almost done, the back. Now we've just got to put this on with those wonderful little E-clips. 2mm ones, where are those? Where are they? They should be in a little bag. There they are. 1, 2, 3, one back in the bag. Right, I'll put one through that way and one through that way and one through that way. My pliers are not big enough. Let's try and push that through. That's through. And let's turn that over. And we'll try and put these on. That went on. Relatively pain-free. Going on rather easily, not fighting. There, and that is in. And if there's little pins that go in there to hold that back up, little foot hangers on there. Let's have a look. It's now telling us to put some brackets in, which I believe are these. I'm not sure why one's shorter than the other. And I can't figure out how that goes. So if I do that, so that goes that way. I think out to some. No. They're both exactly the same. They use 2.5 by 8. 2.5 by 6. 2.5 by 8. Cap head. 2.5 by 8. I'll just get 2 out for now. So that points away from the mud flat, so that goes in there, like that. They're both going exactly the same place. They will be the tie downs for the frame, because we've got these here on. So I'll get another 2 of those. Steel mud flaps. Steel mud flaps. I think they might have been, would have been better if they'd have been rubber. Not too much. And that is, why is that shorter? I don't know. There will be pins, I would have thought, that drop into there. We shall see. We will see. Right, what's next? Still trying to figure out where the bloody lights go. And I'm wondering if that's them. And if they are, because it doesn't say anywhere how to install radio or how to install the radio gear. Doesn't tell you anything about, just tells you how to mount the servo and the motor. That's it. So those outer ones will be the indicator. These are just acrylic with a plastic thread on them. So I think before I get any further forward, I think I'm going to have to drill those out and just put these two in here, these two red ones. I've got 3 red ones for some reason. I don't know, because the cab over here has an indicator and a headlight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 of those out. Right, really jumped ahead there, made a lot of mess and did a little bit of tidying up, and basically we got the back on and we've done a little bit of wiring. I've made these lights because the original wooden frame had just one for either the red light or that. So what I've gone and done is just quite simply made a light bracket with a small side light in the middle, or brake light, and side lights, and then the indicators. That is all nicely braided in there and braided all the way through, so it's not going to get caught up on anything. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with all that and how that's turned out. So yeah, little bit of a rugged look, but that's pretty much the way it's going to be. Very happy with that, how that actually sits on with these L-shaped brackets here, and there's 2 frame brackets just here. I'm going to be taking off the fuel tanks, I think. See this frame rail here? That one is full length of the body, but for some reason the one on this side isn't, and I have no idea why this side should be shorter. I do not know. It shows you in the instructions, and it even has 2 holes in this bracket just here. I don't know. I do not know. So they are going to go into the light unit. These are just cheapies off eBay. Let me just unplug all those, because that is going to plug into here. Now there is a little legend on there. So we can say, yeah, I don't know how that's supposed to work. I gave up looking at them years ago. So I'll just plug in there, and that's the last one, or last two. Right, plug in there. I'm not using the others. What I might do is turn that around so that fits in there. All the wires are going to tuck in. These are then going to come out to the front. These two are the indicators, and that one is the headlights, receiver, and speed control will be going in the other fuel tank. It will fit in there, and the lid will go on. Yeah, that will get hidden away in there. So let me get that in. I'm going to need to extend these motor wires, and what I'm going to do is the wires that were supplied with the King Kong, yeah, I'll use that to extend between them. The battery will go upwards into the body, and that will sit in there with a battery. That will connect in there, and that lid will fit on there as though it is a load. Now, here's the thing, we've got a sound system, and I will be looking to fit it on a pallet. It's just a normal Euro pallet, but what I want to do is maybe fit that. I'm going to try and wrap this up in a sheet, so this can also go in the bed of the vehicle like this, like a load. Whether it goes in a corner or not, but I need to get those wires into here, and I need to take a power feed off that, so there's going to be a JST in there somewhere. So I don't know how this is going to configure. Whether or not put it on a smaller pallet. I don't know, guys. I'm going to have a think. Might wrap that and then put some straps over it so it looks like it's a load, but that is going to be the sound system, unless I can figure out where to put it. Well, as you can see, I have jumped way ahead. The reason for that is because I lost my phone, and I do all my recording on my phone, so that's now back in my possession. Still the same one, it's just that I left it somewhere. And yeah, this is the finished result while I was waiting. So basically, the ESS dual sound system that I had planned for this kind of went in a different direction. So on this, I fitted all of the the speed controller in here with the receiver. The light system is under the seat. All the wiring is also under the seat, and the sound system has been very neatly tucked away just here, right in the chassis, right there. It has been calibrated. To calibrate the sound system for the throttle is quite simple. It's you press and hold the plus button until you get a long beep, and obviously you're in neutral. You press the button to say that you're in neutral and it'll beep, and then you push your radio stick fully forward and then press the button and then let it go back to neutral, pull it all the way down for brake, and then press the button again so it knows where your end points are for your throttle forward and throttle back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've painted the wires so we can't really see them. You can see a bit of red there where I've missed. Yeah, little connector there. You can't really see much of the wiring. It was a royal pain in the behind. And just put a cutout for the switch just here. That turns the rig on and off. And of course the battery is in its own storage box. Yeah, just as simple as that. I've got an adapter on there because my preferred connector is EC3, so you shouldn't really have all that much trouble just fitting a standard Deans or whatever your preferred is, and a couple of R clips to hold the back door up. Other than that, it has been an absolutely epic build. Now the guy I'm building this for has got a friend who does weathering, and he is going to weather this truck for him. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. Bit of limestone dust on the tyres, because I have taken this outside and taken some very nice shots. So what I'll do is I shall switch that on there, switch around. What I'll do is put these RC 4-wheel drive axle stands. RC4WD. I don't know if RC, if it actually means 4-wheel drive, but it does in my mind. Get under that. There we go. So, lights. Indicators. And that's, I've put that on there. On the switch on the radio, so yeah, that's pretty good. And if you tap the stick up, also do the lights on here as well as on this, because I've just mixed the elevator with this. After 5 seconds the engine shuts down, and to start it up again, just nudge the stick. You can program these. You can program these Sense EssOne and the Sense EssDual with any sounds that you want. The truck sounds are a little bit limited because it looks like it's more geared up towards crawlers or short course buggies or even drift cars, because there's a hell of a lot of different sounds, but only 3 truck sounds. There's a couple of boats on there and some aircraft ones, but yeah, that is it. It did take a lot of swearing to get all of the electrics in, because obviously with the electrics being under the seat, under the bed, in the fuel tank, it kind of had to have 6 hands to put it all together. So yeah, it took me about 4 hours to reassemble everything after it had all gone in. But yeah, very happy with how that has turned out. I've already showed some pictures to the owner, Kieran, and he actually thought I'd taken some pictures off the internet and showed him. Yeah, really happy with that. So what I'll do is switch that off and switch that off, and yeah, that is your 6x6 ZIL 157, I believe. Overall, very impressed with how this has gone together. The chassis and the loading cargo load, honestly, can't fault it. Can't fault it. Absolutely stunning. Very, very pleasurable to put together. The quality of the plastics on the cab could do with some improvement there. But like I said, the owner is going to have it weathered to give it some old patina. It is a 6-wheel drive. There are no differentials. It has very good steering lock. The servo that I've got in here, the standard servo, which is a Futaba S-U300, I don't think it's strong enough. So what I might do is get a stronger servo before I give it him back and fit it in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing more I can say about that. Yeah, marks out of 10, I'd give it a very strong 9. The 1 mark would be because of the quality of the plastics. There's moulding lines on here, these short screws that come through on the hood, they might be 0.5 millimetre too long, and they just start to stress the plastic. I think I'm being picky. Would I recommend one if this was your thing, if you was into military trucks? 100% yes, definitely. Absolutely. Things I'd do differently, I would fit a stronger servo. Definitely. It seems to struggle. It's a heavy truck. It's locked. It's not got open diffs. But yeah, fantastic. I'll show you some photos of how this has turned out. So yeah, been to see my goddaughter, and she's drawn spiders on me with a smiley face because I hate spiders, and she wants me to like spiders. So yeah, bless her. Right then guys, I'll show you some pictures, and yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Give it a like, give it a share if you think somebody might be interested in this, and I will see you on the next project. Who knows what that will be. Bye for now.